I don't care about stats in the preseason. I just care about the look, especially for a guy coming off injury.
Look wasn't great.
The look was rough. I mean, it was really rough. And Shanahan even talked after the game. He said, I would have liked to put him out there once more, but then all the starters got to go out there with him. And there's something to it going into this next game for the Niners where whenever you're shooting around, you're shooting hoops, shooting a driveway, whatever, you always want to walk off on a make. You know, like you want to make the last shot before you go into the garage, before you go into the car, and you stay out there as long as you have to because that's your last impression. I'd like to see him walk off with a make. And listen, if they got to start him out with screen passes and dump downs, that's fine. But this was so bad and it had so much national attention. This is the kind of thing that can shake your confidence as an athlete. So I want to see. I got to see him make one.
And that's just it. For me, I don't go off the stats, Kyle. I don't even go off the look.
What do you got?
I go off pressure. And I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is feeling pressure more than ever in his career. I remember when he first signed with the Niners after the trade, and he had that hot streak at the end of the season.
5 wins.
5 in a row. Everybody's excited.
Future of the sport.
Yeah. And I came on TV, and I had to be that dude, and people said, well, Nate, it sounds like you're downing Jimmy G. Why don't you have any optimism? I said, no, it's one thing to come at the end of the season when nobody's expecting anything. You're not fighting for a playoff spot. You just got paid, or you know you're going to get paid. You're playing with house money. The pressure isn't on you.
Yeah.
And then last year, we saw that. Of course, you can't control the injury. But then now, seems like with the injury, with everybody talking, the amount of money in the bank, you being Brady's backup, the pressure is starting to mount. And I've always heard you either feel pressure or you apply it. There's 2 types of quarterbacks. Brady applies pressure every field he steps on. Right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is feeling pressure.
The pressure comes and goes. You're saying it can go away, right?
No, I'm not saying it comes and goes. I'm saying he's feeling it right now and he's overwhelmed. He doesn't need to beat the stats. He doesn't need to beat defenses. He doesn't need to prove to us. He needs to play that invisible ghost, which is pressure, and he feels it more now than ever.
They have so much investment in this season, that organization.
It.
Last year was almost like a mulligan. We lost Jimmy. We had Jerick McKinnon was injured.
Yeah.
They bring in D Ford. They bring in Quan Alexander. I mean, they really feel like they're ready to go. If the quarterback isn't good, they go nowhere. So there is real pressure there. I would hope in the next 17 days, which is from now till the regular season, we see a different Garoppolo. But I'll tell you one thing about Kyle Shanahan. That guy can coach. That guy knows quarterbacks. And players to him matter. But his scheme is what he's most proud of. If Jimmy doesn't get this thing going, like I said earlier, I mean, I don't think he's worried about his job security. I also don't think Kyle Shanahan treating him like he's some holy, cannot be replaced guy.
That's true.
Let's see how that month goes.
Mullins looks great.
Mullins look great. Let's see if they start off 0-5. I don't think Garoppolo's one of those guys you're entrenched saying, no matter what, we're living and dying for 16 weeks. Let's see him play.
It's the preseason. I want to be patient. Like it was his first bit of whatever that rust is from coming off that injury and finally shaking some of that off. And we've seen rust. Andrew Luck came back from injury, started slow last year, ended up amazing in the playoffs. I've just seen too many times in the process of coming back from an injury, players not look the same and not get back there, not even from a physical standpoint, but from a confidence standpoint. Derek Carr, injured, hasn't been to the playoffs since. You guys got like Mariota, he got injured. That next year he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. So is that crazy that I have that same thought in that and what I'm watching in these games right now?
I think so.
The next couple times I see him, that's all I'm looking at. What do you look like? What do your feet look like?
I think the only difference between those guys that you named, we've seen those guys play in big games. Like we've seen Mariota play in a game that mattered.
We haven't even seen that.
Like, think about it. Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't played in a game that has mattered.
10 starts.
Even in the beginning of the season last year.
Mariota won a playoff game at Arrowhead.
You know what I'm saying?
Like Jimmy, yeah.
Frakes, if you're Dak watching this go down, $100 million quarterback.
It's the biggest preseason game in Niners history. Gotta have it.
Wow.
Gotta have it. There it is. Put it out.